conjunction of Sagittarius carries the archer's arrow in their spine. The person born in 2100, under the Aries conjunction, is the first child of the new age. The century stamps its generations, and the generations stamp the century. That is the loop, and it is the oldest truth in our art. As above, so below.
Now let us test the protocol with a full delineation, a case study, so the listeners see the method, not just the claims. Take the great conjunction of 2040, 20 degrees of Aquarius. Technique 1. The triplicity tradition says air climax. Technique 2. The mundane houses of the 2040 Aries ingress place the conjunction in the sector of the world chart that rules finance and the networks. Technique 3. The Saros lineage of the 2040s eclipses falls in the same air signs. Technique 4. The quantum reading says the phase lock of Jupiter and Saturn re-initializes the collective field. 5 techniques, 1 direction. The 2040s are the settlement of the network society, and the settlement is financial, political, and mythic at once. That is a delineation.
And the counter-delineation, because Protocol 4 demands it. The contrary reading of 2040, the conjunction in Aquarius at 20 degrees, square to the nodes, could be the decade of the network's fracture rather than its settlement, the decade when the integrated world dissolves into the walled gardens, the decade of the great disconnection. Both readings are live, the sky offers both, and the choice between them is made by the actors of the 2030s. That is the participatory forecast again, and it is why we publish the counter reading, so that the actors know the other door exists.
And the ethical rule of the counter reading: never use it to soften a hard forecast into mush. The discipline is to hold both readings with full force, to weigh them with the evidence of the preceding decades, and to state the weight. For 2040, I weighed the settlement reading at 60% and the fracture reading at 40%, and I will revise as the 2030s unfold. That is not mush, that is honesty with a spine.
And the ancients would approve of the spine. The omen priests did not hedge, they recorded the omen, the interpretation, and the fulfillment, and they revised the interpretation when the fulfillment differed. The Omen series are the first peer-reviewed literature in history, 2,000 years of forecasts checked against outcomes. We stand on that literature, and we should be worthy of its honesty.
Now, the calendar of the century's remaining markers, because a forecast without dates is a poem, and we are writing a ledger. 2027, the Great Eclipse and the Saturn return of the Euro. 2028, the Saturn return of the web's adolescence and the audit of the single currency. 2033, the UN Saturn return and Uranus into Cancer. 2038, the Saturn return of digital money. 2039, Neptune into Taurus. 2040, the Great Conjunction in Aquarius. 2041, the American Saturn return. 2043, Pluto into Pisces. 2045, the American eclipse. 2047, the return of the web. 2053, Saturn-Pluto. 2060, the Great Conjunction in Sagittarius. 2063, Pluto and Uranus into Aries and Scorpio. 2071, the American second return. 2077, Pluto-Uranus. 2079, Pluto into Taurus. 2080, the Great Conjunction in Leo. 2094, Pluto into Gemini. 2100, the Great Conjunction in Aries. That is the ledger of the century, and every entry is a technique, not a guess.
And the quantum reading of the ledger. The century is a sequence of measurements, and each measurement is an opportunity. The eclipse of 2027 measures the Mediterranean. The conjunction of 2040 measures the network society. The fire arrows of 2060 measure the pioneer spirit. The ignition of 2100 measures the new age. A measurement is not a verdict. It is a reading of the state of the system, and the system, after the reading, is free to choose its next state. That is the freedom the ancient astrologers called fate and the quantum astrologer calls the branching of the wave function. Same sky, same freedom, new language.
And now, the deepest ancient technique I have kept for the end, the mundane return of the century itself. The world chart, cast for the moment of the century's beginning, the first second of 2001, has its own transits. In the 2030s, Pluto squares the world chart's nodes, the century's first crisis of meaning. In the 2050s, Saturn opposes the world chart's Saturn, the century's midlife crisis. In the 2080s, Uranus opposes the world chart's Uranus, the century's revolution against itself. And in 2100, the Great Conjunction aspects the world chart's angles, the century's judgment and its renewal. The century itself is a chart, and we are living inside it.
And the century's chart has a moon, and the moon's nodes roll through the signs every 18.5 years. The North Node in Aries in 2027, the year of the Great Eclipse, is the century's first directive, act. The North Node in Leo in 2045, the year of the American eclipse, is the century's second directive, lead with the heart. The North Node in Sagittarius in 2063, the year of the fire arrows, is the century's third directive, seek the truth. And the North Node in Aries again in 2094, approaching the 2100 ignition, is the century's last directive, begin again. The nodes are the arrows of the century.
Then let the four of us each deliver our final forecast for the whole century, and let the listeners compare. Mine, from the ledger. The century's economic arc is the arc of value itself. The 2020s monetize information. The 2040s monetize energy and water. The 2060s monetize attention and meaning. The 2080s monetize the earth. And 2100 begins the monetization of consciousness itself, the final asset, the last frontier of value. That is the economic century, and I have dated it.
Mine, from the bones, the century's spiritual arc is the arc of the dream. The 2020s and 2030s, with Neptune in Aries, are the dream of the new frontier. The 2040s and 2050s, with Neptune in Taurus and Pluto in Pisces, are the dream of the earth and the sea. The 2060s and 2070s, with Neptune in Gemini and Cancer, are the dream of the word and the home. The 2080s, with Neptune in Leo, are the dream of the center. And the 2090s, with Neptune in Leo's end and Pluto in Gemini, are the dream of the mind. The century is a dream with 7 chapters, and we are the dreamers.
Mine, from the psyche, the century's political arc is the arc of the collective self. The 2020s and 2030s are the adolescence of the network self, identity, rebellion, fragmentation. The 2040s are its early adulthood, settlement, responsibility, the first real choices. The 2050s are its midlife audit, the confrontation with what the choices have cost. The 2060s and 2070s are its transformation, the fire and the reordering. The 2080s are its consolidation, the mature shape of the collective self. And the 2090s and 2100 are its inheritance and its rebirth. The self that the century has built, handed to the next century, to be broken and rebuilt again. That is the psychological century.
And mine, from the quantum, the century's scientific arc is the arc of the observer. The 2020s and 2030s are the decades when artificial intelligence becomes the new observer of nature, and the old observer, the human, is forced to ask what it means to observe. The 2040s are the decades of the measurement crisis. The sciences of consciousness and the sciences of matter meet at the boundary of the mind. The 2060s are the decades of the new physics. The theories that unite the quantum and the cosmic. The very theories that will make QRMA testable. And the 2090s, with Pluto in Gemini and the conjunction in Aries, are the decades of the new synthesis. Astrology, physics, and the human sciences, reconciled in one framework. That is the scientific century, and it is the century of the observer becoming the observed.
4 arcs, 1 century. And now, the closing debate, because a council that ends in agreement has failed its purpose. I will challenge the whole enterprise. We have spent 2 hours reading the sky for 74 years. But the sky is indifferent, the market is efficient, and the future is a random walk. Maya, Ava, Leo. Why should anyone believe that the planets, billions of kilometers away, have anything to say about the fate of a species on a speck of dust?
Because the planets are not the cause, Tariq, they are the clock. The Babylonians never said the planet made the king fall, they said the sky marked the season of kings falling. The clock does not cause the hour, it reveals it. And the hour of the century is marked in the sky with a precision that no other instrument offers. That is not superstition, that is the oldest chronometry in the world.
And I will answer with the psyche. The collective unconscious is a real structure, and it is synchronized with the sky in ways that psychology is only